anime is a Japanese colloquialism. Ghuntz is a top 10 lolly because he loves you. Sure. Ghuntz is a secret lolly. Ghuntz is one of the top 10 lollies. Thank you, Whatta. I am a huge fan of feeding the content machine, the podcast that is literally just analyzing my content. Kill yourself, Whatta. I mean, he's fucking from another country, so I don't know how they do. Throwing money at the screen seems to literally work now. I know, right? Got shitloads of Swedish candy from Sweden.
Ooh, welcome everyone to this Grand Slam competition. In the blue corner, we have our host for the show. It is What About Things man from Sweden, and it's Ghuntz, the Unz Ghuntz. His name rhymes with the soundtrack from Redline. They have so far not been defeated by a single week of Digibro content, but this time in the red corner, we have the week that shocked everyone and completely overturned expectations. It's the latest week of Digibro content. Yay! Something like that. Hey, Ghuntz.
Hey, congrats. Good start on that.
I think I did it better than last time.
Yo, yeah, this is take 2 technically.
Yeah, because Ghuntz lives in Florida, and it's not the best place to record a podcast, apparently.
No, apparently they just take off your power at any time just because they want to fuck with you. So
yeah, and just delete your recording and stuff and everything. Yep. Yeah, welcome to Feeding the Content Machine. We are the only podcast brought to you twice in the same week, where we'll have to redo our conversations about the first 4 topics.
Yeah.
Hey, at least we didn't get more than 20 minutes into the show.
Oh, yeah.
So,
this would have been terrible if we had an hour in.
We had a what?
If we were an hour in.
Yeah, that would have... At that point, the show's just cancelled, man.
Yeah, fuck it. No.
No more content machines. Anyway, let's jump right into the content roundup rundown, which this week will be going off my own little content roundup because Digibro has a different schedule. He doesn't do them weekly. He does them based on the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, and the last of the month. So we'll be making our own ones from now on because recording on Sunday turned out really good for our schedules.
Yes.
Or maybe we'll do this bi-weekly and just do longer episodes. Who knows? We'll see how we do it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway, the first thing we have to talk about is the thing that created the sound bites you heard in the new OP for this show. The one, the true, the only, Digibro, the content machine, decided to just run a bit of overtime and do a live stream for us last night.
Out of nowhere. This came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Suddenly he was just like, I'm drunk, I'm recording myself, go laugh at me.
And then he did.
Yeah.
For an hour and a half.
Yeah. And I was luckily awake for this, because I have a tendency of sleeping through fun things that happen in the Digibro universe.
Oh, yeah.
Because I live in Sweden, and my nighttime is like American prime time, right? I usually sleep from about 6 or 7 p.m. to like a bit past midnight American time, because that's my nighttime.
Yeah.
But luckily, I'm a piece of shit who stays awake to 3 in the night for no reason, and I got the live stream.
Hey, don't we all stay to 3 a.m. in the morning and pass out on our desks?
I mean, you started doing that recently, which is why we had to record this podcast later today. But yeah, it's great. The live stream was fun. We did some banter, some Q&A.
Yeah, there were a lot of memes going around.
A lot of memes flying around. Ghuntz was confirmed to be a secret lolly.
Yeah.
I got a premium live stream of Digibro eating candy I sent him. The Kex, which, by the way, Digi, Kex just means biscuit. It's just the Swedish word for biscuit. It's not a meme. I didn't even realize it was a funny word.
It's not like Kekistan or whatever the fuck that country is.
Exactly. It's just Kex choklad just means biscuit chocolate. It's the most it's
What?
I just thought it was a traditionally Swedish candy, so I said it.
Digi's just a filthy American that misinterprets everything.
Well, he wouldn't know. But still, I found it really funny that he saw comedy in a word I had not even considered to be funny. Looking forward to that mailbag video whenever it comes out, because it's not out yet when we're recording this, and I am really proud of the candy I sent and the fun little letter.
I want to send him something, but I don't know how the fuck to send him anything, so I don't.
Put it in a little paper thingy.
Don't I have to buy stamps and shit?
Yeah, but you just go to the post office. Don't post it from your like box. Just go to the post office and just tell them, I want to send this to this address. Give me as many post stamps as I need to send it.
Okay.
Just make sure it arrives. I'll pay what I have to pay. That's
yeah. All right. I'll ask
how
for
I did
directions.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the post office. Don't try to do it on your own.
All right. Cool.
And everyone else, do send Digi mail. It's fun. Also, do support him on Patreon and join the other live streams, because we get more live streams than just this one, right?
Yeah, we get 2 every month.
No, 1 every month.
Oh, is it 1 every month? Oh.
Yeah, it's at the end of the month. He does a Patreon live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are awesome because they're longer and
yes.
There's more specific question asking, so he can actually read what you're fucking typing instead of 600,000 emails pouring in.
Yeah, it's
in the chat.
It's usually around 20 people watching those live streams, and they go for about 2 hours. Because after 2 hours, we kind of run out of things to ask him.
Yeah.
Because he actually answers everything, and after a while, we're just sitting there like, we can't chat anymore. We're done.
Can't really come up with anything cohesive anymore.
Yeah, it's just, at that point, he just devolves into memes, and then he cuts it off.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty funny. I like
fun.
those streams a lot.
Me too.
They're very different from the crazy... It's basically like, Twitch plays Pokemon, right? You had democracy and you had anarchy.
Yes.
The live stream that happened last night was anarchy. And the live streams for the patrons are democracy. That's just how it works.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
Should we move on?
Yes. Let's move on.
So we had Game Boys on the PlayStation 1, which we didn't watch.
No, neither of us watched it.
Yeah.
So congrats Game Boys.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's sort of like we both realized by now that this is just a sentimental podcast for sentimental people who have experiences with these consoles. And I have never played a PlayStation 1. I've never touched one, never seen one. So
yeah, me neither. So
there's no point.
I can't wait for the original Xbox One if they're going to do that one. Can't wait for Xbox 360 and obviously Nintendo DS.
DS is my big one. Yeah. Also PC. Do a PC one. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Digi does a lot of PC gaming, so... Well, he played like Dark Souls on it and stuff, I think.
Although PC gaming is sort of more new and recent, so he might not have that much of a deep emotional connection to it.
I mean, sure, but if you look back, I think he spent a lot of time on the PC. He's probably played a lot of games on it.
Well, yeah, of course.
So yeah, that'd be cool. And then we have Digi and May talk about Pokemon 4 Celebi movie.
Yeah.
Celebi Rate. Yeah.
This was
no reaction. That's what that joke deserves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
These are. I don't particularly feel very strongly about the Pokemon podcast, but they're fun things that I can listen to when I wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
okay. So for me, Pokemon 4, legendary shit movie, absolutely terrible. It's hilarious going through it because Digibro's rage at the whole Samuel Oak time travel paradox is fucking hilarious. Also,
okay, that like sounds retarded.
It is so retarded. It's basically based in the fact that the movies, the anime, and the games are all 3 different canons.
Oh. Okay.
Whereas the anime movies are kind of similar to each other, and the first movie is definitely in the anime canon, but then the second movie on is sort of its own canon.
Oh well.
As far as I understood it. But it's a really, really shit show experience. I just, as a kid, I cried to this movie when I watched it. And I thought it was really good as like a 10-year-old. I was like, because as soon as I got emotional as a kid, because it never fucking happened, I would be like, this was great because it made me emotional, man.
I mean, I can understand that mindset, but
yeah, these days, that movie is notorious crap. And so is the 6th one, which we will be getting to in 2 weeks. I kind of like the 5th one. I think the 5th one's fine. It's not as good as the 2nd or the 1st one. It's about as good as the 3rd one, I'd say. Maybe a little bit better. But then you get into this long stretch of, okay movies. Like, they weren't good. They definitely weren't that bad either. They're all just a little bit worse than the 3rd one, I feel.
Do you think they're going to watch all of them?
Yeah. Look, if they make it to number 18, the Hoopa movie, which is my most hated Pokemon movie. Even if even if the Hoopa one is technically better than the 6th one with Jirachi, I just hate the Hoopa one more because Hoopa's a shit Pokemon, and at least I love Jirachi's design, you know?
Yeah.
I think Jirachi's cool. But if they make it to 18, I'll commend them, man. Because I feel like Digi is like an energy watcher, right? When Digi watches anime, he needs to have the energy to keep going.
Yeah.
He needs to sort of get on this high and just experience the high throughout the whole show, or he'll feel down, or he won't like it.
Yeah.
That's why, for example, when he watches stuff seasonally, he can't really get into them because he needs to constantly be riding this feeling, right, of continuation.
And in between other shows and a whole week, that feeling doesn't carry itself.
Yeah, and especially if you get an episode that's sort of an in-between episode, it's not that interesting on its own, that just kills his enjoyment, right? That's why the Made in Abyss podcast crashed and burned.
Yes.
So that's just the type of anime watcher Digibro is.
And will probably never come back.
Yeah, dude, it's not cancelled. It's officially not cancelled. We'll get the final. I mean, he will finish the show at some point. He needs to do it for
obviously.
2017 finish or fail, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So he'll probably go watch it. And I hope he does, because the last parts of my Made in Abyss are great. But I don't know if Digibro will manage to finish all the Pokemon movies. Maybe it's just because he's doing it with May and it's like a nostalgic thing, and that's why it's really nice. But once he gets to Generation 4, when he gets to like the number 10, the big Dialga Palkia movie, and he moves on from there, that's where I think around 10, 11, 12, I think interest is going to go rock bottom.
Oh yeah.
They'll get like 3 movies in a row that are just not that cool.
I mean, they've gotten tired of series much quicker than they have. Like with the rating every Pokemon thing, they were Tiji was talking about the fact that they were just extremely annoyed and bored with it by the end, so they just kind of rushed through it.
Yeah, I think that Pokemon movies are a more interesting concept to do though than the rating every Pokemon.
I guess.
Because they just have to record something after watching it, and they just have this non-recording experience while watching the movie, and just be a cute couple snuggling each other with a Pokemon movie. So yeah. I feel they'll definitely get to 10. I think they'll get to 10. And then during 10, 11, 12, I don't know if they'll finish past that. If they do, they'll probably also get to 18. Because if you get through around that area, like 10, 11, 12, not that bad. They're just incredibly uninteresting. That's just...
Oh, okay.
That's where the formula clicks. Like that's where the Pokemon movies snapped into their formula, and they were never experimental again.
Oh, that sucks.
It was just the same movie from that point on. From 10 to... all the way to 19 is just the same movie over and over again.
That's really bad. That's really boring.
Yeah. So even if that movie is not that bad, the fact that there's 10 of them is kind of bad.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if they get there.
We will see. Meanwhile, speaking of things they'll either finish or fail. Finish or fail!
Yeah.
So we have number 8, which is a light side, and we have number 9, which is a dark side. So let's start with number 8.
Yes, number 8. And we'll talk about only a couple of shows or a couple of sections for each, because there's a lot of stuff that Digi watched that isn't particularly interesting to think about or talk about, like the fucking smartphone show.
Yeah. Which was a 10-second clip.
Yes.
It was great. Yeah. But he talked about Sakura Quest on this one.
Yes, and I was glad of how much they were positive about it. I thought that I thought they were gonna hate it like you do, but
yeah, I hate that show. Mind you, I watched 11 episodes of it.
Yes.
Just because I kept telling myself it can't be that bad, but that just made me hate it even more when I finally dropped it.
It's really not that bad.
It is that bad. It's so boring. It's so boring. And I when Digi kept going on about how boring it was, I was like, yes, thank you, kind Digi, for giving me affirmation of my opinion.
I am having trouble picking it up to finish it again, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was comfortable. I thought it was Iyashike-ish and relaxing, so that's why I kept watching it.
Yeah, and the most interesting content from this finish or fail about this show is definitely May's analysis of their outfits.
Yeah, yes, that was fun.
Because she sort of broke apart how they have these different pieces of clothing and they combine them in different ways to make different outfits, but you can still sort of see their wardrobe. And I had never noticed that because I'm a stupid otaku who doesn't think about clothes.
Oh man, I go crazy over clothes, so that May talk was really, really cool.
I literally live a lifestyle where I have run out of clothes and I haven't done my wash in so long that currently I'm wearing my gym clothes that I used to wear when I went to school because I have no other clothes left.
No, trust me, I don't care about my own clothes. I care about pretty clothes on cute girls. That's what I care about.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then they talked about 18F, and they dropped it really fast, because it is kind of a shit show. I love 18F. I gave it like a 7 or an 8.
Wow.
Because 18F is just such an interesting show to think about, man. It's never really that good, but it's always really interesting as a show that exists. Especially episode 7.
Yeah.
But, like, people should just watch episode 7 of 18F as an OVA. Because it has no... you don't need it as a connection to the rest of the show. You can watch it in the rest of the show, because it does follow the formula, and it does tie into the narrative in some ways. But episode 7 is just so interesting, man, and it's so fucking cool. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm sad he dropped 18F.
Yes, I dropped it too. I can understand it.
But it's like, I totally understand that Digi would drop it, because especially that first episode is completely uninteresting. It's way more formulaic than the rest of it. It's like not as experimental. It just completely has a shit art style. Gonzo don't really try to animate it that well in that case. Gonzo is such a weird ass studio, man. Yeah, it's just cool, you know.
I mean, they're still experimenting with visuals. I mean, you know, they've always done that. So
yeah, Gonzo are really experimental. They're just not that talented always.
Yeah.
Like if you go back and you watch their old school shows, and the CGI in those shows look so bad, and a lot of 18F looks really bad. It's just also really interesting.
I barely remember how that show looks. I just remember that it looked weird.
Yeah, but you just watched episode 1, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and that's uninteresting. Episode 1 doesn't look like anything.
Mm.
Episodes past that sometimes look very interesting. Like episode 9, 11, 3, 7 stand out as really interesting aesthetic episodes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have number 9, the Dark Side episode, which started with a rant about Demi-chan.
Yes. And this was particularly interesting because he picked up the show earlier this year, and he saw like an episode or 2 maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
It was one of the shows that he didn't start in Finish or Fail, but he continued. And I think that that's ultimately why he ended up dropping it, was because he didn't watch it continuously, and over time he got tired of the idea of the show after thinking about it. Yeah. Because the show is very, very samey, very formulaic. There's not a lot of, like, overarching changes in it. It's just kind of the same thing. And this, for me, was one of the first shows that I ever finished, so I barely remember it. I remember some parts of it, but yeah. I watched it mostly... around the time when
you started watching anime.
Yes, I did. I watched it mostly half asleep in my bed in one sitting. And that was my experience with it. Yeah,
for me, Demi-chan is like... It's a very genre... It feels very home in its genre. It's just a cute girl show with some twists to it. So it's sort of a gimmick-based show, right?
Yeah.
Where it's not anything special, but if you like the gimmick, you'll like the show. And I feel like Digi just wouldn't like this gimmick too much. And also, Digi won't watch a show just because it has a cool gimmick. Yeah. I think we've seen this several times. Like when he dropped... If I go through some 2016 shows he dropped Kiss Him Not Her after saying that, hey, I appreciated watching the first episode of this because the gimmick was kind of cool, but I won't watch the show just for the gimmick. Yeah. He dropped Hatsukoi no Monster, which was a show about the 10-year-old super hot boy who...
yeah.
And he dropped that show saying, hey, this was a really cool first episode, I appreciate this gimmick, but I won't watch the show just because of the gimmick. Because shows that rely on gimmicks get old. So when he dropped Demi-chan, I was like, of course he did! It's a show about cute girls who are kind of monsters and also a little bit subjected to racism. That's a cool gimmick. And they also love the teacher because he has big fat arms. The gimmick is fine.
I do
did appreciate
that,
the gimmick,
the fact that was
and
cool.
then he dropped it. Yeah.
I like sexual tension between teachers and students.
I don't, but that might be because I'm a teacher.
Oh, right. I totally forgot that you're a teacher.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's super awkward whenever that happens. I'm like, oh my god.
Well,
oh my god.
proof that it's all based on
This
subjection.
is so unprofessional. That guy should get fired. If he works at my schools, he gets so fucking fired.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Then we had the finish or fail meta segment.
Yeah. Oh god, what the fuck happened in those sections?
So he had a big section where he talked about like his taste and how people get the idea of finish or fail wrong.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he really sold it with one analogy. That watching finish or fail is like watching Katanagatari. You just know in advance that dude's gonna find 12 swords. And you want to see what happens in his encounter with each of those swords. It's not a review show. It's not an in-depth analysis show. It's just Digi's an interesting dude. Digi knows a lot about anime. Let's see what happens when Digi butts head with about 300 anime.
Yeah.
And watch each one of them. It's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this, next level experience. It's just a fun video to check out.
Yeah. As I've always said in this show, it's a popcorn show.
Yeah, but it's the best popcorn show.
It is the best popcorn show. Except maybe something we'll get to later in this episode.
Yeah.
So, by the way, Ghuntz, I have a question for you. And it's something I've been thinking about for a while. Should you pirate anime?
Well, if you see Digibro's video about it, you might get an answer to that.
Yeah, or not. I don't feel like we really got a definitive answer, but like, kinda? It's like, look at your own situation and then decide. Which is the good, nuanced opinion.
I mean, yeah, because it gives an answer that is malleable. It's not like other YouTubers, which put a moral fist on your face and tell you that if you don't do it one way, that you're a terrible human being and that you should die.
Yeah.
That's not what this video is about. It's analyze your own living conditions and think about whether or not you should be pirating it if it benefits you.
Yeah,
that's the solution. That's a solution. That's the answer.
Yeah, it is the answer. And this was a response video to Unique Nemosaurus video. And he really broke down the points in Unique Nemosaurus very well. He gave respect to the good points and he crushed the bad points. Unlike sort of the response from other people which was just like, this is the stupidest video I've ever seen when they watched Unique Nemosaurus video. Digi gave appreciation to the good things. He didn't hamper down on some details. Like some people responding to this video were like, because this was wrong, there's no merit in this video at all. And sometimes when the good points in that video were presented in a way where if you really looked at exactly what he said, it wasn't smart. But if you just understood what he actually meant through his bad expression at that point, it was way cooler. And Digi gave him the benefit of the doubt and just said okay, I see what you're trying to do here. There's a lot of good points in here.
Yeah.
Your presentation was kind of shitty. The video's not that great, but dude, we should still listen to this. There's some good ideas.
Yeah. I feel like after this video, there shouldn't be any more discussion. This is pretty much the final point in the paragraph.
At least for us people who agree.
I mean, what else can you say about it, The answer is there.
Yeah. It's like the segment that I kept putting in the OP of this episode. Maybe the industry should fucking die. That old rant from Digi is still something I really like.
Yes.
The last month when we did this exact same debate,
Mm-hmm.
What was really cool about this as well is that it spawned a live stream from what's he called? The dude who is really smart and does university style anime analysis. Pause and Select.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did a live stream and they were talking about this debate and they went on to talk about the Flying Colors Foundation, which is something that Digi is involved with.
Oh, right, I heard about this.
And they started shit-talking the Flying Colors Foundation a lot.
Yes,
and so we in the Discord were listening to that, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is bad." So I quickly wrote Digi they're talking about it. Get on the podcast, and then Digi got on that live stream.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he did get on that live stream, and he talked to Pause and Select and Anime Every Day and some of those other guys, and tried to explain.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he explained what the Flying Colors Foundation was more about. And then they were really good about asking questions and really criticizing this foundation from a intellectual point and a industry savvy point.
Mm-hmm.
And then Digi took that recording and he sent it to the Flying Colors Foundations and he said that they listened to it. So hopefully this will lead to a lot of good things.
Yeah, communication is the biggest thing about this whole thing. You know, it's to get people's ideas across, to get opinions in, to get more people thinking about it so that it can actually pick up and change for once.
Yeah, it's really cool that people are just talking to each other like human beings, which is not that common in the anime community.
This is true. Or with the level of understanding that we're seeing.
And I just took a sip of Coca-Cola from my Pirate Bay mug, so that's where my opinion lies. We then had another case of Digi schooling his fans.
Well, fans is a loose term.
Okay, schooling his commenters.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the Meta Hole 2, Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll.
Sex, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. I think to start off discussion of this, in the first episode of Feeding the Content Machine, we were comparing the Meta Hole to Insomnia Analysis.
Yes.
And we were bringing up points about the atmosphere being really different. And Digi himself commented on that a lot of it was because of the house he was recording in. Mm-hmm. That the difference in Insomnia Analysis was that he was in a room which he knew inside and out and which reeked of his essence. And then Meta Hole was recorded in a new home that wasn't furnished fully yet and he didn't know how to use it yet. Now he's lived there for a while. Yeah, and the Meta Hole is developing into something a lot more like Insomnia Analysis.
Yes, but also different in a way that makes sense. Whereas Insomnia Analysis was kind of this uncontrolled spiral into madness. Meta Hole, it's like this. It's like his house is a museum, and he's parading you through the museum, and the museum is just filled with his ideas. It's classier. It's a bit more controlled, but also just as hard hitting with what it's talking about.
I think that Insomnia Analysis was a bit like a cluster bomb, right? Whereas the Meta Hole is a bunker buster. You just drop the Meta Hole exactly in the right place and it will penetrate down, down, down and blow up all the shit on the ground, right? So he really used a lot of interesting vlogging techniques in this one.
Yes, there's a lot of interesting editing techniques and camera placements and all that.
Some really aesthetic transitions.
Yeah.
So he started it off by doing this little bait and switch thing, right? So he was pretending to be really high and acting like you would think a really high person would act, but he was actually stone cold sober. And then he put that in the corner and commented about that fact that like no one can fucking tell if I'm drunk or not, except on the Bayfos vlog, because that is the drunkest shit he's ever recorded.
Yeah. Also, just with the amount of power and destruction that he obliterated all those useless comments in his idea video, and that idea that him smoking is slowing down his content.
Yeah. Like, you know, I want to speak out to the people criticizing Digibro for the drug and alcohol stuff. If I am okay with Digibro smoking and drinking, no one else is allowed to be pissed about it, because I am a fucking anti-drug and alcohol political activist in Sweden of all countries. Like the most anti-alcohol political country there is. Like the Swedish sobriety movement is so big and rich that we run and fund every other sobriety movement in the world. And I am a leading figure in all this. And I like Digibro's content and I think he's great. If I am okay with this, then probably there's something good to be found in it that the drugs and the alcohol are not destroying. And if I have the self-distance to separate my own political opinions from art I like, then maybe you should too.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, you're not as invested in this as I am.
Yeah. Also, Digi's like a grown person. He's smart. He knows how to organize shit. He knows what he's doing with his life, you know.
He got into weed past the age of 26, which means that the mental brain damaging effects that are long-term are fucking non-existent.
Yeah, so he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
the guy has a tried and true structure for making videos.
Yeah. Like, personally, I would be happy if he stopped drinking, because that would be cool. I would enjoy that. But I don't mind that he's drinking because that's who he is, and that's how a lot of his fun content comes around.
Exactly.
And it's just a part of the aesthetic of Digibro, like, and it's something he likes doing. And while I would argue with him if he invited me to argue about it, I won't fucking shame him for it. Because that's not a fucking intellectual conversation about this topic. That's not where we want to be. YouTube commenters, fuck off. Seriously.
Yeah.
And that was about the message of the meta hole. Fuck off.
Just fuck off and leave me alone.
I want to live sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah. Keep living that style, Digi.
Yeah. Be yourself, man. That's why we like you, because you are yourself.
Yes.
That's the number one reason you're cool. Because you never compromise on being yourself.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
And that couch turn that Digi himself called very Casey Neistat inspired.
That blew my mind.
It was so cool. Because he did a little feint, right? He was like, yeah, that's, I guess. And then he like twists his head. And then he just took a deep breath. And he sided around and he twisted around and he got in the other position. And then the camera switch happened. And you're like, oh my god.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
It's like he's controlling you.
I know, right? It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
It seeks out so much. It like reeks again with this great essence of Digibro, because I feel Digibro is more confident in himself than he's ever been before right now.
Oh yeah.
Digi just has this anything. Yeah, he has this aura about him of just being a completed man. Like Digibro has locked in past his quarter-centennial progress report. He has locked into a lifestyle and a personality, and we just have a Digibro now, who is who he should have always been.
Yeah.
The teenage stuff is all gone.
He's Digi's fully powered form.
Yeah.
His complete form.
And while his content is still evolving, and we're in a phase of content evolution, the man Digibro, I feel, is very complete.
Yeah.
In a, like, personality way.
Yes.
And it's cool to see. Especially on the live streams, I feel he commands a lot of this.
Yeah. Charismatic guy.
Yeah, it's great. And it's also great that, like, we get some old things coming out now from when we didn't really feel that way. Like, we'll get to the Plebeian and Weeb later. And watching that, which is recorded in January, it's so different from the Digi we have now, right? It's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Anything else to say about the meta hole?
No, it was great. I want more to keep coming. It was a great experience.
It is the most aesthetic Digibro experience outside of Gay and Dead.
Yep.
Then we had Koa no Katachi review.
It was kind of a surprise, this one.
Well, not really, because he had been talking about how he went to see it on the movies and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We had a big discussion about it in the Discord about if is it good or not, which was where a student of Ethereum was the guy who really criticized the movie, and Digi was talking with him back and forth.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I still haven't seen it, so I don't have an opinion about the movie itself.
Okay, did you watch the vlog?
Yes, I did.
Why, if you haven't seen the movie?
I mean, because I wanted to watch the vlog, because I'm planning to watch the movie with my mom later.
Okay.
And I didn't want to watch it.
Okay, I guess I'll just talk about it then as a guy who watched the movie. This is my favorite Koe no Katachi YouTube content so far. And because there's been a lot of Koe no Katachi analysis videos. There's like 20 of them.
It's a big movie.
I know Seiko Cat did a really good one, which was all about her own personal experience. I know that like people such as Pedantic Romantic have made a big one. Other people made big ones. But this one was really the best one. And it's why I like Digi so much. Because he and May just saw this way more nuanced perspective on the movie, where they could point out all the good things way more concisely than other people pointed out the good things. And then they compare that to the bad things in a very realistic way. It felt so obvious, everything they were saying, but it was very well presented. And at the same time, they still caught that self-identity focused intellectual perspective on the whole thing. Such as when they talked about Digi's favorite scene, which I found it awesome that was his favorite scene, because it's also my favorite scene, which is the mom screaming at the boy because he tried to commit suicide. A scene that touched me so closely in my heart, because I've been in almost an exact similar situation in the past. And it's just, this is so well presented. This is so well directed. The character acting is perfect in this scene. And then they commented on the other stuff, like how it turns into like a Anohana style seasonal anime in some points as well. which explained to me exactly why I would like this movie a bit more than how much Digibro likes it, because I am way more able to watch melodrama than Digi is. I like melodrama stuff still. Maybe it's because I'm still a lot younger than Digibro or something, or it's just my taste. But Anohana is one of my favorite anime. It's in my high 8s, low 9s somewhere. And I was like, yeah, it is like Anohana. And I did like Anohana, so...
Well, I mean, I guess I'll prepare myself when I actually finally watch it.
Yeah.
It is fucking long, so...
It's a really good vlog. It's up there with like some of my favorite vlogs on the Digibro After Dark channel.
Oh, wow. That good.
Yeah, it's really good, especially in how it goes about the movie. It's probably my favorite straight-up anime After Dark content.
Wow.
Because, like, the Bayfos vlog is better, but it's not straight up about anime, right? It's about a high concept in anime.
Yes, exactly.
It's like a different thing. Like, this one is better than, like, the Ordinal Scale vlog, which it's similar to. I think it's better than that. I think it's better than, like, some of the other anime content.
Well, yeah. Okay, yeah, I understand.
So that's how much I like that vlog. Really well done analysis of the show, movie. Really good chemistry between Digi and May as always. Really well presented nuance points. Digi, you're a god. Good vlog.
Yeah. And I don't know if he's going to do one on the other big movie that dropped this year. What's it called?
In This Corner of the World.
Yeah, he said he was going to try to watch it in theaters when it came out.
Yeah, it just dropped on Blu-ray. I just have the torrent actually today. Or a few days ago. So okay. I'm going to watch it this weekend, I think.
I should probably watch it too.
Then we had the Manga Monday double feature, which one of the mangas was King of Wolves, and then I didn't remember what the other manga was.
Yeah, but the fact that it was 2 was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Sort of experimenting with the format. I like that. Introducing more manga. I like that. This one for me was kind of whatever. It was an introduction to a couple of regular mangas, but he didn't mention one that I'm really interested in, which was Tokyo Akazuki, which is the one about the Little Red Riding Hood that goes around and kills. She wants to get devoured by the big bad wolf, and she goes around looking for men who she thinks is the big bad wolf, but when they aren't, she kills them brutally, and that's the whole manga. It's
like the story of the dominant submissive.
It's supposed to be really disturbing and disgusting and horrible.
Yeah.
And I like that shit because I'm disgusting and horrible, so I'm going to go look for that now.
Yeah, the manga seemed really interesting. Digi has a way of selling interesting manga when he likes it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So that's all the After Dark content. We have just covered After Dark so far.
Yes. And we're 40 minutes
So, main channel content, and some more After Dark content. It's the big, broad topic anime video on the main channel. There's too much fucking anime.
Yes. And
this such a good video.
This one sort of... It was a similar video to the Akashic Records one that he did earlier this year.
Yeah, I actually didn't think about that. It is kind of the same point.
In the same vein that it's current, there's a lot of current stuff being discussed, but it also puts in some ideas for the future of the industry or the future of the community.
It's like, I think you can follow a narrative here in Digibro's journey of nailing down his opinion on these kind of shows. Have you watched first you watched the Icesef War Suck series, right? And especially episode 9, all about A1 Pictures. And then you go further to watch the Akashic Records video. And then from there you go and watch the Should You Pirate Anime original main channel video.
Yep.
And then from there you watch the There's Too Much Anime video. I think you can see Digi's sort of evolution of understanding his own perspective in these areas of opinion. And also nailing out the differences between his opinions and the rest of the anime YouTube community's opinions.
Yes. Going back to the video, though, because this is pretty particularly heavy video.
Yeah.
He does pull out an emotion or a certain opinion that I think clashed with a lot of people. And it's the fact that he's basically talking about cutting off a big portion of anime that comes out in order for people to come together into these bigger productions, into these higher end releases and sort of erase all those crappy, cheaply produced shows that come out every single season, and sort of condense everything more.
Yeah, all in an effort to make good anime even better, and especially make its marketing really better, so that more people get into anime.
Yes, the big debate here comes in the fact that how can you determine what is worthwhile anime if art is supposed to be subjective? If anyone, like the fact that he discussed during his Akashic Records video that even the most hated shows on My Anime List have people that have them in their favorites lists. He's sort of counteracting that point a little bit in this new one, saying that all those shows in the bottom are worthless, when there are people that do like them and watch them and consider them their favorites.
But then he says also, like, those few people cannot fund the studio.
Exactly.
Like, that's not going to help the industry.
Exactly.
And it's not going to help anime, like, stake out its place in the greater media landscape.
Yeah. So while we might lose certain shows that a few people might like, we're not putting the effort into the big, powerful shows that can be, game-changing and really interesting.
I go back a bit to a video by Demolition D. He made a video called Should You Watch Ergo Proxy? And completely disregarding his opinions about Ergo Proxy, there's a segment in the video where he talks about the concept of art or product. So whenever he describes it as whenever you're about to make something, you fall into a choice. Are you going to make a product, or are you going to make some art? And then he goes in and puts a bunch of value into that, like, oh, our products suck and art is great. But disregarding that, something like, for example, Arrow Manga Sensei, no one going into that thought we're going to make some art. That was a show where they went, we're going to make a product. And as Digibro says, that is a product that deserves to exist because it's capitalizing a lot of important trends. Even if the show's shit, it deserves to exist.
Yeah.
Which was a point Digi made in the video.
Yes.
But then a show like Two Car, which he talks about in the video, is also a show where everyone making it said, we're gonna make a product. No one thought that was going to be art. But that product has no place in the market because it's not well researched, it's not going to sell, it's not capitalizing on market trends as effectively, and it's just a worse production. So
it's just a question of those kinds of shows are just questionable in like why are they made? What's their purpose? Yeah. You don't really know.
So that show should not be getting made because it's a product that's not fit for the market. And that kind of stuff can be analyzed before it's sent out. But then a show like 18If, another show that a lot of people think is shit, but everyone going into that show thought, we're gonna make some art. Like, that show is not a product. That show is not just some shit show, it's like a very special shit show. It's not the Asterix War, it's something completely different. So that show should exist, even if it's bad and no one likes it, because it's cool art that is created by passionate people.
So basically the point is that the type of anime that should be being made is one fueled by passion and by a groupthink about trying to make good art and to promote it.
It's either that, like there's two kinds that should be made. It's either passionate art anime, or it should be really well-researched and well-produced product anime.
Exactly.
That way we get only the good shows. And that, I think, is... Like, he goes into a video on After Dark saying, clarifying what anime should be made. I feel like the point I just described is at least my way of understanding Digi's argument via a term from a Demolition D video. But if that's not what Digi's trying to say, then I maybe misunderstood it, but that's how I would describe it. And that's the point I agree with.
I mean, ultimately the industry might not even ever change anytime soon or ever.
Oh, I think it probably will, but it's sort of like, to further that point, you can analyze it throughout Digi's video about gimmicks and art, right? Because the whole product art thing is sort of similar to the gimmick art thing that Digi was talking about.
Okay.
Arrow Manga Sensei, Sword Art Online, even better things like My Hero Academia, that is the anime industry's gimmick. That's how they stay alive.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
They make all of these shows as their gimmick, But then stuff like what's running recently, Made in Abyss. That's the anime industry's art.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that people care about.
Exactly.
Similarly, Shirobako. That's the anime industry's art. That's not a product. It's not a gimmick. Now, you can have things that are in between. I'd say that maybe Yuri on Ice to some degree. That's more in the art department. Maybe Virgin Soul Bahamut is somewhere in between a gimmick and art. Like, there's definitely unique, interesting ideas there, but it's still geared very much towards genre and stuff.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe I thought way too much about this.
No, I mean, it's... You gotta think too much about this.
Yeah. Another thing about the video itself, Digibro's voice acting of this video, his best voicing ever done in a scripted video. Holy fuck, it's so good. He sells the jokes really well.
I didn't really think about that.
He uses his implication of voice going up and down, whispering, timing. The audio editing is superb. It's just really good voicing with passion. There's a lot of emphasis and passion in the way he voices it. I wish every Digibro video was voiced like this, because I am kind of sick of a lot of Digi's main channel voicing. The way he reads everything in a very clear and structured voice, and there's not always a lot of emphasis on how he says things. That's why I really liked his unscripted main channel videos, because they had more passion and emphasis in the tonal presentation of how he spoke them.
Yeah.
And I also like Aesthetic is Narrative, because that's a video where he uses more structured speaking and how he can variate how he talks. But this video knocks it out of the fucking park. And then it's all like helped by really, really, really good editing from Devu.
Yeah, it was just a really tight video all around. Yeah. Relatively short, to the point. Very red-pilling in a way.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. And I hope it keeps rising in popularity. I hope it gets more watches, because it really deserves them.
Yeah, when Digi made this video, he said that he would be surprised if this video did not gain 200,000 views.
Which
it has 75,000 views.
Yeah,
it hasn't even hit
100K. So
no, it's not even hit 100K in the first week.
Yeesh.
So on the other day on the Patreon Discord, Digi basically said that fuck it, the main channel is just going to be good content from now on, because there's no way I can. It's not. No one's watching it that much anymore. I can't really gain algorithmic support with the main channel anymore. That's just not working out.
Exactly.
So at that point, he said that he's just gonna make really good long videos. He doesn't need to split up the videos like he did with his Kobayashi-san video anymore. To sort of game the ad revenue things. The adpocalypse has probably struck Digibro pretty hard as well.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't need to anymore. He doesn't need to do any of that shit.
No, his Patreon is above 4K. It's fine. He can survive off Patreon. So I hope the main channel is just focused on these really good videos right now, and that maybe the main channel can sort of come back to being more in Digibro's art house rather than Digibro's gimmick house.
Yeah.
That he gets more time to think about things he really wants to make, and not just things he needs to make.
Exactly.
At least that's my perspective. Like,
I sort of, After Dark's gonna be the gimmick, while the main channel could be those big videos that he pours lots of hours into.
Yeah, hopefully. Although, like, some of the art's still gonna be put on After Dark. Like, whenever Well Laid and Well Paid comes out, that's gonna be After Dark content, and also Bandcamp content. Whenever stuff that's cooler comes out. But, like, Finish or Fail is, like, the main After Dark gimmick content, and then we can get cooler, bigger, more interesting stuff on the main channel that allows Devu to be a bit more experimental. Like he was in the There's Too Much Anime video.
Yeah.
Which has some really good visual gags. The stuff where Kino was on the old YouTube page, and all the little... If you pause and look at all the YouTube page text that Devu put in.
Yeah. That was really creative.
The little joke where he put in the YouTube skip ad segment when he was talking about the show being an ad in front of the video. There's so many. I wrote to Devu, I wrote PMs to him like, oh, this was good, and this was good, and this was good, and this was good. I just wanted to like shower him in praise for that video. I think I tweeted a bunch at him as well. Like, It's such a good video. I love this so much.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he did the After Dark vlog just clarifying some points.
Yes.
Moving on. You said when this came out that you were going to not talk about it for a whole week. And you have not talked about the Beeb and Weeb for a whole week.
I have not talked about it, yes. And now I can talk about it, so I will.
What is your opinion?
First of all, it dropped like a steaming pile of crap. It dropped like it, so it just flopped on the floor, and then everyone scrambled because it smelled very strongly, and everyone was drawn to it.
So it smelled of bacon.
It was kind of chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were done with the previous recording, we basically just locked ourselves in our rooms and watched it, and that was the experience.
The whole Discord went silent for an hour.
Yes, for an hour. Everyone was watching. It was like the apocalypse was happening,
including Digi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I'm glad to see good old Brony Curious.
Yeah. Who, by the way, has been having a stellar resurgence of his channel.
Yes, he has.
Tommy Oliver has become my second favorite PCP member as of late.
Go
He's
subscribe
been really
to
good.
Tommy Oliver. He's making good videos. But yeah, this video was a very painful and slow descent into madness that was just as cathartic and psychedelic as I expected it to be.
Yeah. The meta-narrative is really coming into shape now.
Yes, it's finally starting to pick up, and it will only get more intense.
And we sort of went through what I think is the main bad anime they're going to watch. Because these were the two fan-suggested shows, and those fans are stupid. I think that these shows are kind of bad suggestions. If I was suggesting, I probably would have told them to watch Fooly Cooly. Because I'm a fanboy. And also, I would have loved to see Jesse watch Fooly Cooly.
I mean, half the fun of these is that they're watching absolute crap.
I think it's going to be more fun when they watch stuff they like. Because then we can get Jesse doing anything but feel like shit.
Exactly. And not want to, and not, be the crazy animal that he was.
Yeah. Like, I'm really looking forward to whatever episode is Mad Bull 34.
That one's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to the K-On! One where they're all super depressed because the movie's so good.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. And I also know they did a lot of stuff that wasn't anime.
Yes. I know they did Boruto, the first 10 episodes.
I'm really sad that I didn't catch this Kickstarter, because I totally would have donated to it.
Me too.
And I want to watch the videos of them watching these shows. Like,
yes.
I really hope that he releases some way for us to buy those. Because I'd pay
maybe during his Patreon when it's over.
Like, I'd pay $20 to watch those, maybe a bit more, like to watch those recordings of him watching anime easily. Like, it'd be great. I'd love that. If he just releases them, I'll buy them because I want to watch Digi watch anime. I've said this before that I love commentator tracks because I love group watching. I love social anime watching. And I just watch the anime along with the group watch and have a blast.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I hope that comes out. Especially since they're referencing it. In the Peep and Weep 2, they referenced they're watching that they were just talking about tits the whole time. And I want to watch the tits conversation. Fuck. Let me give you money to watch this. Seriously, Digi.
Yeah, like, people will literally pay you for you to sit around and watch whatever and talk about whatever. And
they'll pay you for content you already made.
Exactly.
So yeah, then the actual episode, the music videos were great. I loved the rapping from Jesse.
Oh yeah.
That was great.
They were great.
Man, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to... I mean, there's kind of so much, but also, like, there were long sections where they were just talking about the show, and where nothing was really happening.
Yeah.
It was kind of a frustrating experience as well, dealing with Jess.
Yeah, Digibro wrote in the Discord a post which reads that he watched it high for his second rewatch. And he sort of split it into 5 different halves, or 5/5. So the first one is the most disorientally badly structured anime review of all time that completely sucks. And this is true.
Yes, it's terrible.
I watched this video together with one of my friends who hates anime YouTubers, and that's why he liked the first episode of People in the Week. Because he was identifying with Jesse a lot. And he was like, yeah, fuck this show, man. Anime YouTube sucks. But then he watched the second one, and he really liked Rokka no Yusha, because he has shit taste. And he constantly went on about, oh, they didn't get that right, or they misunderstood this point, and they're not actually thinking about the show enough. Oh, this is a shit review. And I was like, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be the best review of all time. They hated it. They are saying that they hate it. They're not going to be super accurate about why they hated it.
I mean, if you really think about it, Plebe and the Weeb is just like it's just them talking about whatever show in front of a screen. It's where Jesse comes in and where the editing comes in, where it becomes its own animal. Because otherwise it's just a fucking podcast about some show.
Mm. So, and the second fifth is it's just a genuine conversation between friends who watch something drunk.
Yes.
Or watch something together. And that's cute. I like that. Now, the third fifth that Digi describes is the meta-narrative of us getting drunk and increasingly not giving a shit about what we're doing and consequently losing our minds. And this is sort of the narrative of Plebe and the Weeb, right? It's the what the actual show is.
Yes.
And it's sort of like, it's similar to the other Jesse content where there's a narrative throughout all the videos if you pay attention. And that's what the narrative is of this one, of them losing their minds and hating it. And Jesse slowly getting more and more insane, and Digi slowly getting more and more annoyed.
Yeah, you could, oh my god, holy shit, you could see Digi's face. Like, he was staring daggers out of his eyes.
Yeah.
He wanted to kill. He wanted to kill fucking Jesse.
It must be so painful for Digi to watch these back.
I mean, imagine being there. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The fourth fifth is an actually hilarious comedy podcast where we all play ridiculous characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesse's it's very hard to digest individual.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard being a Jesse fan. Like, you have to work to be a Jesse fan.
Yes, you have to,
and
like,
he expects you to work.
Mm-hmm. He expects you to commit.
And then the last one is a fucking incredible series of CKY videos edited over the entire thing. And I don't really get that because I don't know CKY, so I did a bunch of Googling. And apparently it's these homemade, weird-ass skateboard videos. And I was like, oh, it's because of Sushi Swine video.
Oh, yeah.
I guess. So that's the joke.
Yeah.
I think he broke down his own show really well there.
Yeah. Yes. That was a great...
And I agree with all those points.
Yeah. That was a great analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah, Plebe and the Weeb is still really fascinating to watch. It's still like a big event.
It's still really hated on Reddit.
Yes, everyone hates it on Reddit.
Because they're stupid.
As it should be. I mean, honestly, it's kind of expected that it'll be hated by most people who aren't into weird shit.
Yeah. Which all of us are.
And don't get the joke, which is most people.
Yeah. You know, if Digi and Jesse ever make content that is absolutely unanimously loved on Reddit, maybe that's just where their content's gone bad.
Yes, that's when they died. That's when they will die.
That's when they just become Jeff.
Exactly.
and we lose interest in their content. Last point on Plebe and the Weeb.
Oh, what else? I mean, I hope we don't have to wait 4 months for a new one, but at the same time, like, take care of yourself, Jesse, please.
Yeah.
We love you above your videos, man. We want you to be cool.
Be a cool guy, because you are the coolest guy.
Yes.
And, yeah, actually. Just, I'll wait half a year for another Plebe and the Weeb episode. I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't care. I have enough Digibro content to get by.
Did you see the week we just went through? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
But we're actually making pretty good time with this podcast because just now we passed 1 hour. Maybe it's because we could go through the start faster because we already did it once, but
yeah,
we did it completely differently, so I don't know. Moving on, though, we have the PCP Ponycast.
Yeah, and
this is your big one.
Yeah, this is interesting because they all took up their personalities, or at least the mantle of their personalities from back when they were in the pony days. Yeah. And one of the things that still fucking blows my mind is that Best Guy Ever and Ben Saint were T-Bab. They were two best brothers bitch about ponies. I had no idea that was Best Guy Ever and Ben Saint. I was just a fan of the channel because they were a great like episodic recap or review about an episode, and I always thought those videos were really well done. And then to finally discover that they were in fact Best Guy Ever and Ben Saint, I was like, holy fucking shit! These guys were doing good content since like 2011.
Yeah.
So,
especially Best Guy Ever has been very adamant about not getting his old fans from that channel following him to the new channel.
yes.
There's no links to Bebop anywhere in Best Guy Ever's content. There's no sort of anything about that.
Yeah, I mean,
And
maybe
Ben Saint
I'm the only T-Bap fan anymore. I like
well, no,
T-Bap.
there's a lot of them, but still.
Well, no, the ones that still like watch his content.
But wait, you realized that this episode? Or...
I did realize that it was I was always curious as to who they were in real life, but I was never 100% sure that they were Best Guy and Ben Saint. I wasn't entirely sure, and now I am.
Okay, because they mentioned P-Bab on a bunch of episodes.
Yeah, I know, but I wasn't entirely sure until now. I guess I just didn't pick it up.
Yeah, you see, I've never seen P-Bab because I wasn't a brony, but yeah. So how was this like for you as an ex-brony?
Well, it was. First of all, the podcast was like 8 people, so it was incredibly clusterfucky and unlistenable, technically. People were screaming over each other. There were characters involved. Fucking Munchie was there screaming like he always is.
Yeah.
So it was basically incomprehensible, and it was pretty intense as an experience. Because you watch the movie. This is all about the MLP movie, and how most of them outright hated it and thought it was terrible. So they were just shitting on the movie.
Yeah.
But it also turned out to be this sort of like exploration of their own pony sonas and who they were back in the day when they were all part of the fandom. It wasn't like an explicit discussion, but there was like a framework there that sort of explored who they were through their presentation as themselves 5 years ago or whatever. So that was fascinating.
I thought it was interesting too, as a guy who wasn't into ponies, because it's sort of, whenever Digi and friends talk about their relationship to their past days, I get kind of interested because it's just part of the lore, you know?
Yeah.
It would have been cool if Cider was on this one.
If who was on?
Cider.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be
He
cool.
would add a lot of discussion to ponies.
Wait, did we get a episode of the pub crawl this week?
I don't think we did.
Yeah, I didn't check that when I made my content run out. I'm gonna look now.
Huh?
Did we get an episode?
But okay, while you look that up,
we did not get an episode of pub crawl.
Oh, okay, wow, interesting.
Well, that happens every now and then with that show.
Yeah, but yeah, as someone who was deeply into the pony fandom back in the day, seeing this brought a smile to my face. I still have a lot of nostalgia for those days, even though I know Digi doesn't. So yeah. I want them to have a PCP about the community back in the day, because I feel like a lot of them have tidbits of information or certain experiences with the community that I feel it would be really fascinating to listen to, as someone who was part of that community and who knows it top to bottom.
Yeah, I'm like they kind of did that in this one.
Yeah, a little bit.
And also in the pub crawl, context crawl, they did a lot of that. I feel like I kind of got it at this point, but I mean, I wouldn't hate listening to that. I'd totally be down.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I'm just really fascinated in what the brony community was, and I want to see more people talking about it. So
it's a very interesting case study in shit.
Oh, in shit?
In shit. It's just if you stare at a turd for long enough, you can find some really interesting bacteria in there. I think that what you said about Digibro not having nostalgia for the brony community is not true, though. I think he has a lot of nostalgia for it. Because in this episode, he kept saying things like, "Oh, I can see the fan songs. I can imagine the analysis video I would do about this movie. I see it." And all the other was like, yeah, it's totally visible to us with our anime eye powers of seeing My Little Pony content. And I was like, man, he has a lot of nostalgia for this. And this was a really important part of his life. It's just not positive nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he talked about it during one of his insomnia analysis, and the fact that he he was organizing his old room, and he got to the pony stuff, and he couldn't get himself to put it up because it brought a lot of memories about certain people and certain way, and mostly how he left the fandom and how that left a sour taste in his mouth.
Yeah, because he had quite a falling out with the fandom.
Yes, and he was really loved. He was highly respected and adored in the fandom.
And then he was very hated.
Yes, very suddenly.
It is interesting.
Yes.
It really is. Then we had the podcast.
Yes, which I did not watch, but I will today.
Okay.
So I have time.
Well, I just put it in here mostly to advertise it. Like, oh, this was a thing that happened. So yeah, go listen to the podcast. It's just them getting drunk and having fun. I think they were getting drunk. Some of them were. It's a sweet, chilled out, slow paced podcast.
Awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And then we had the Linkin Park albums cast.
Yeah. Did you listen to this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did.
Yes. What did you think about this one? Start it off.
So my experience with Linkin Park is very different than most people because I never found them when I was in the age and attitude that would make a good Linkin Park fan. I discovered them after that phase because the areas of the internet I'm in didn't really have music as a focus point at all. No one talked about music. So even if I hanged out with a lot of people who probably listened to Linkin Park, we never talked about music, so that never came up to me. I do, however, have a interesting experience with Linkin Park and a story that's very worth telling of when I was 10 years old was my first time hearing about Linkin Park. So that was before I was in the phase where I could probably enjoy their music. Because I didn't get into the weird outcast phase until I was 12 to 14 somewhere. Mm-hmm. When I was 10, my music teacher got a mission that he was going to turn our class of 5th graders into a choir for the parents' time thingy. So the parents were coming to the school for an open house, and they were going to see all the things, and we were going to put on a show for the parents by singing. And we had this big theme about anti-bullying. So the teacher was asked to put on a show that was a song that was anti-bullying. And the teacher picked a Linkin Park song that has themes about bullying. Okay. I don't remember what song it was. I know when this cast came out, I went back and found it. I'd forgotten the title. But we actually went into the show. We learned a entire Linkin Park song without knowing that much English. I knew a bit more English than most kids, but a lot of them just did not know English at all. So, yeah, dude, it was fucking weird. Somewhere I Belong, it was the song. Somewhere I Belong.
Okay.
So we were singing that song, and it's sort of a really grim song about more, there's some suicide messages in there and stuff. Oh, man. God. And I actually sort of understood the lyrics, so I was like, oh, this is gonna be a shit show. This song is weird. And we were singing it not to the original soundtrack of it, but to the teacher's piano playing of the song. So it was fucked up as shit, because it sounded like just a regular school performance, but then the lyrics were just really edgy lyrics. It was somewhere around 2006, 2005 somewhere. And I remember all the parents, I had phases of complete shock. It was total silence. There was no applause after the performance. All the parents just sat there what the fuck? And then the music teacher awkwardly went up and he started applauding, and then people awkwardly started applauding, and then no one mentioned it ever again.
Oh god.
It was fucked up as shit, man. I remember most of the kids had memorized this song by heart and did not understand what they were singing.
That's really funny.
It's fucking great.
I mean, you could trick kids into saying whatever the hell you want them to do.
Yeah, especially living in a country where no kids speak English, you know?
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I have never listened to or liked Linkin Park. In fact, I pretty adamantly hate their music. Mm-hmm. Yet it was really fascinating listening to someone who grew up on it and was affected by it in such a way. Mm-hmm. It gave me sort of a perspective in the fact that, oh yeah, this kind of music can reach certain people, just like other type of music has reached me in the same way. And even though I hate it, other people might find it to be, areas where they changed as people.
Yeah.
So
I actually sort of like a lot of their songs today. Because I went through a big nightcore phase in the middle of high school.
oh god.
Where I listened to a lot of nightcore music. And a lot of the Linkin Park nightcore musics were some of my favorites because I really liked rock nightcore way more than techno nightcore. So, for example, nightcore version of Numb is one of my songs that I have a strong affection for because I listened to it a lot in high school. So that was cool.
Cool. Yeah. I like the album casts. They're interesting. I want to keep hearing more of it.
Yeah, keep making those things. Yeah. And we did it!
Oh, we're over. Oh my god.
We're done with the content roundup rundown.
Yes.
And we somehow did it in our regular time.
In this crazy ass week of
How?
insanity.
We have won the boxing match that we set up in the start. We won.
Yes.
We are the Grand Slam champions of Digibro content boxing. How did we do? I didn't even feel like we were rushing.
No, it was very relaxing. I liked it. This is a good one.
Yeah, this is a good episode. Yeah, man. That was great.
All right. Is there any
goss or news in the Digisphere?
Not particularly.
I mean, there's the whole piracy thing where we talked about that.
Yeah, but that's part of that video. So
yeah, I feel like with this segment, the problem is that gossip and news in the Digisphere is always related to Digibro's content.
Well,
so we discuss it before we get to this segment, which means that we never have anything to talk about in this segment.
Yeah, I mean,
which is stupid.
It's saved for when like actual shit happens.
I mean, kinda. But even when like the whole monkey falling out thing happened, that was mentioned in content, and we didn't mention it here.
Yeah, it's true. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what we do with this segment.
Yeah. Next week we'll probably have a guest on. I've been talking to a lot of people. Now it's just been a few episodes of us. So look forward to that.
Yeah.
I'll just end the show, man.
Yeah. Later.
See you in the Discord.
Top 10 lollies video when... Okay, we'll do it right now. I'm gonna need a lot of time to think. Ghuntz is a top 10 lolly because he loves you. Sure, we'll say Ghuntz is one of the top 10 lollies. Thank you, Whatta.